Yes, Chris, just the details.
The Republican National Committee is preparing to require presidential candidates to skip debates run by the long-established debate commission.
I asked for the chorus of chickens because they're just afraid to run in free and fair elections and debate and, we just won another fight in Ohio, hopefully. This is brought to you by the RNC. They've either got to gerrymander, they've got to vote suppress, they don't want to debate. It's just they cannot win free and fair elections anymore. That's what
I know, but you just said, what happened in Ohio with their Supreme Court, we had a conservative justice that went along with the liberal justices, knowing that there was too much gerrymandering. They're fixing the maps. There are small victories that we have to celebrate. Hopefully that'll actually catch fire across the country. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. Mike Rounds, South Dakota, has been telling people for the last year the 2020 election was fair, but then he did something other Republicans haven't dared tell a national audience that this week. Now he wishes more Republicans would join him. The former president called Rounds a jerk. So what? At this point, seriously, there are a party of chickens of this idiot that's going to call you a jerk. You're a loser. Mitch McConnell's a loser. Mike Rounds is a jerk. Rounds stood by what he said, argued there's many, many more Republicans like him, and they need to speak up. He said if we want to keep the trust and gain the trust of more individuals that are wondering, we have to probably say it a little bit louder and in more places that many of us normally either aren't invited to talk or have chosen not to get into the fray. I mean, Dana, is it baked into the cake already? You have 70% of Republicans think the election was illegitimate.
And then you've got Ms. Lindsey Graham talking about how they're not going to vote for anyone that won't be able to work with the former guy. And I'm like, he's not even in political office. What do you mean work with him?
Right. That's assuming he's going to be back in. And they're assuming, they're just assuming, Dana, they're going to win huge majorities in 22. We have got to outwork them. We've got to turn out in 2022 and wipe those smug smiles off their faces that they're just convinced they're going to be back in power.
Well, I know that the listening audience for Stephanie Miller's show has already got their postcards ready, their letters ready. This is what we do. And I know there's going to be a lot of boots on the ground for the midterms. So I know that our community, we're going to do our part. We just got to recruit some others to do theirs. We've got Michelle Obama, who's trying to register 1 million new voters before the midterms. Yeah. There are people out there doing things, so we just have to keep this momentum going, and we've got to help out there. We just do.
And we are, as you say, Dana, having victories with the gerrymandering. That's what they're hoping, is that you'll feel hopeless and your vote won't count. But it do not. Anita in San Antonio, Anita's on the. I feel better because she's on the case. Anita in San Antonio.
Yes, I am on the case. Happy birthday, sexy Chris.
Thank you.
Sexy
you're
Chris.
Almost as good as Queen Bee.
Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping she'd call today, but I know. I haven't heard from her in a long time. I just want to say, first of all, Dana, a lot of those QAnon lunatics are Christian fundamentalists, so they're used to believing in fairy tales.
Yeah.
100%.
A lot of they were raised on, like a literal interpretation of the Bible. They believe in like Noah's Ark and stuff like that. It makes sense that they would believe that these crazy conspiracies might be true. They've always believed.
It's a very good point. Very good point.
Yeah, but Anita, we've really gone far down. I'm sorry, but if we're pea guzzling, we really have gone down the conspiracy rabbit hole. If we really think, I don't know, John Lennon's going to play with JFK Jr. a concert.
I know, but they believe the blood, the wine is the blood of Christ, the body. I mean, they believe it literally. They actually do. I don't know, but I listened to some of these atheist websites or YouTube channels, and they have these evangelical preachers on, and they believe that stuff. They still believe Donald Trump is going to come back and save them. They believe he's their savior. Right. They compare him to Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They actually believe this. Also, I just want to say, Mitch McConnell wouldn't have made that.
What does John Fugelsang say? If you think that, then you've never read either of their books.
Right. Yeah.
What? Yes. Either of the Bibles?
Yes. Yeah. Trump book or the Bible.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No. I also want to say something about Mitch McConnell doing, that ridiculous statement he made on the Senate floor was so defensive. And it must be that Joe Biden landed some punches.
Must be that picture.
They do not like to be called out.
Yeah, it must be that picture of him in front of the Confederate flag that circulates every time he.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, he did seem a little defensive much. Yeah, we have some more. Mitch, sorry.
12 months ago, the president called on Americans to join forces, stop the shouting, lower the temperature. But yet,
Hold
Wow.
on.
What's happening, Chris?
I don't know.
I don't know, but that's the appropriate music that should come on
Oh,
every
good.
time
I
Mitch
like the-
McConnell tries to speak.
I like that we just played him off. I think that was good.
Okay.
We don't need
That
to
was
hear
actually
anymore.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for playing him off. We're in Hollywood. We're like, yep, that's good. That was enough.
I
of a
mean,
speech.
he is right now the best actor in the drama series.
Yes.
So basically, that was appropriate.
Don't you just feel like we're his crock? Like he's just been eating us without lube for so long. You know what I'm saying? We are Mitch McConnell's crock, and we're done with it.
Poor Elaine.
I don't know what that noise is.
That's a turtle
But I needed to stop.
crock. You've never heard the turtle?
That's
crock?
that's an actual turtle having sex with a croc.
Shoo.
Oh my God! No, I have not been privy to that yet.
Wow.
That is the sound that turtles make when they mate.
Wait till you hear the climax.
Yeah, it is a good effort at the end. I have to give it to that little turtle. Okay, Sue in Rockville. Do we need to do the whole thing? So, all right, let's do it again so Dana can hear it.
No.
All right.
Oh, Sue has
Thank
a
you,
thought.
Sue. Thank you, Sue.
Sue is producing the
turtle.
show now. Yeah.
Sue's got my back, and not in a turtle kind of way.
Hello, Dana. And Chris, I want to wish you a happy birthday. See, I'm trying to give you a break from producing.
Well, Travis is the producer. I just run the sound bites and stuff.
Well, happy birthday. I
Thank
hope
you.
you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
But Dana, I do want to answer you because Asha Rangappa was talking about exactly what crimes. Those were federal laws. Those fake electors, it's election fraud, mail fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the government. So they're in trouble, and I would advise anyone whose signature is on any of those 7 state documents to get right with God now and come forward, because they're going to see the full brunt of the laws coming after them. You know, if you guys remember the firm, how do they finally get the firm in trouble? It's mail fraud.
Well, I mean, and Sue, I think what we have exhaustion over, and Dana, I'm sure, you share this with your friend Mary Trump. It's like, it seems so obvious to most of us, not even lawyers, that they have been engaging in tax fraud, insurance fraud, wire fraud, the Trump family for years. Like 4 years. It is so clear in the state of New York. Georgia, we have it on tape. The election, right? I mean, in this latest thing, Dana, these signed fraudulent elector certificates, I don't know how much clearer the law gets, right? I mean, I know AG keeps counseling patients, and I understand.
But when there's so much of it, it's very hard to stay patient when you're like, it is in broad daylight. Like this should be a slam dunk case. I understand the patience. I understand getting ducks in a row and not messing it up because this is the shot you get. Yeah. But some of this, it just seems like, my God.
I get the argument that it's bigger than Watergate. There's a lot more people involved. That's why it's taking longer. But I'm also like, this would be like the Nixon tapes coming out. It's just, for us, doesn't it feel like every week we're like, oh, look at that. There's a new Nixon tape like every couple days where you're like, the Georgia tape, like, the signed certificates. I mean, this is what they call cold hard evidence, no?
Well, and then what we can at least find some comfort in is that the more things that get unearthed and the more things that get made public, because you know that a lot of this can't be made public if it's being an investigation unless it's been put out into the courts as public domain. So there's so much happening behind the scenes. So the more that we start to hear about the news, that means that they found it. The DOJ found it. Someone found it who's investigating these things. It's not like people are just coming forward and being like, I broke the law. Like, people are actually unearthing this. So someone is doing their job out there. We're just not seeing it, and we just have to have faith that it's happening.
Yeah. 6 days after the Capitol insurrection, Fox News host Laura Ingraham tried to get Trump to discourage people from engaging in armed protests at state capitals in a January 12 text message to Mark Meadows. Right. She wrote, And then she said, remarks on camera discouraging protests at state capitals, especially with weapons, would be well advised given how hot the situation is. Everyone needs to calm down and pray for our country and those who lost their lives last week. Isn't the most shocking thing that Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity appear to be more sane in private? Certainly one would.
Well, they engage in showbiz, and they absolutely know it.
Tell him to stop it. He's making us all look bad.
They're not journalists. They're just entertainers. We know this.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole entire network isn't even a news network. I think it's even registered as an entertainment network.
Well, you don't have to register news outlets. So
Hannity's
that's
right.
on record saying that I never claimed to be a journalist. It's like, it's just, okay. All right, so Representative...
Well, he's your best friend. Didn't you send him a teddy bear?
No, that you keep repeating that incorrect lore.
Oh.
I sent him a what do you call it? Frame picture of Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
Because he agreed to be on my show, and he did.
Got it.
And so I sent him a. Okay.
Chris, don't be the Rand Paul of the Stephanie Miller show.
That's right. Don't spread disinformation.
Saying incorrect things.
And he thanked me, and he said he would send me a picture of Karl Marx, which is.
Did he ever do that?
No.
Okay.
He's just
so he's a liar.
Big D head.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Representative Aguilar on Kevin McCarthy's not showing up to speak.
Oh.
When Manu Raju asked him whether he would talk to an outside committee, he answered sure. So we're going to hold him to that. And I would expect anyone who takes the same oath to the Constitution that I took in order to serve here would be willing to talk about January 6th and would be willing to talk about what happened that day.
I remember how very, very insistent he and Jim Jordan were that Hillary Clinton testify, which she did without a subpoena for 11 hours. I just, there's such a giant, I can't even.
Right-wing hypocrites!
So our velociraptor, Liz Cheney, floated a specific crime she suggested Trump might have committed, corruptly obstructing or attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. Clever girl. On Wednesday, the committee's chairman pointed to another area of inquiry with possible criminal implications, and that is witness tampering. This is something else, Dana, I feel like we've seen Trump do a million times in public, witness tampering.
Absolutely.
Right? Kevin McCarthy, blah, blah, blah. They note that McCarthy's review of Trump's role in the events of January 6th shifted over time, eventually becoming much more favorable to the president. We've all seen the tape right after, on January 6th, what he said on the phone to him, what he said on the House floor, what he said on TV during it, that Trump needs to tell him to stop. He, is responsible. So afterwards, a few months later, though, he said, I was the first person to contact him when the riots were going on. He didn't see it. That is a flat-out lie that we know by several other people's testimony that he was watching it on the TV. McCarthy tried to lie and say he didn't see it. Trump didn't see it, didn't know what was going on. Really? Oh, my God. And then he ended the call by saying he'll put something out to stop this, and that's what he did. Yeah, how many hours later did he put... okay. The letter suggestively notes this happened after McCarthy made the decision to visit him at Mar-a-Lago on January 28th. Your public statements regarding January 6th have changed markedly since you met with Trump. At that meeting or at any other time, did President Trump or his representatives discuss or suggest that what you should say publicly during the impeachment trial or in any later investigation about your conversations with him on January 6th? Well, of course he did, right? Okay, so asked about witness tampering in an interview, Liz Cheney seemed to confirm it. She was asked, do you think that raises issues of President Trump's responsibility for the riot, whether or not he's trying to tamper with Kevin McCarthy as a witness? Cheney responded, certainly. So these are crimes. You know what I mean? Like, these are laid out, like when we kind of go, is that illegal? Like, yes, witness tampering is illegal. Obstruction is illegal. it's...
Well, we know McCarthy has changed his tune anyway, because the phone call he made during the insurrection was put into the second impeachment trial when he called Trump and said, your supporters need to be called off. He said, they're not my supporters. And he said, they are your supporters. And then Trump was like, well, I guess they care more about the election than you do. And that's when McCarthy said, who the F do you think you're talking to?
Right. My favorite is him trying to help Liz Cheney and her slapping his hand.
That was
going, don't touch me. You did this.
Yep.
Okay, one more.
And I love that she confirmed it.
Yes. Confirmed. Okay. Well, that's the other thing people are saying. Liz Cheney was there.
Right.
Like, that's the other thing. She's not only a leader on the committee, she was
a
there.
first-hand witness.
She was
Absolutely.
there to what all this stuff that was said on these calls and what McCarthy told her and etc.